my mind. Welcome aboard, everybody, here to the Sports Talk Nation. Michael Cohen here with you. We got some breaking news to discuss here this evening as news coming down that a number of Met players are taking it out against the fans, at least their frustration out against the fans, as Javier Baiez, Francisco Lindor, Kevin Pillar, and a number of others doing a thumbs down at New York Met fans as a way to protest the fans for booing them earlier, not just in this homestand, but in recent weeks. This coming about after the Mets were winning their game and won their game by a count of 9-4. And of course, as the Mets are putting up 9 runs, some of the most runs they have scored in seemingly over a month, almost a month and a half in a single game. Fans, of course, standing up, cheering, rooting on the Mets, and Baiez, Lindor doing the thumbs down as in what they reason as a way to protest the fans for booing them. And here is the quote. We all saw it. Javier Baiez saying, to let the fans know what we don't, when we don't get success, we're going to get booed. So they're going to get booed, as in the fans, they're going to get booed when we have success. That makes absolutely no sense at all. The worst thing, the last thing you want to do if you are, whether it's Javier Baiez or anybody in the Mets or anybody for that matter, you don't want to start a war with the fans. You really don't. And in this case, look, fans are going to boo. Fans are going to be upset, especially when a team is losing. They have high expectations. They pay high prices to go to these games, as we all know. They do reserve a right from that standpoint to boo. Certainly, as we have seen in other situations, in other sports, where things have gotten certainly out of control as far as, like, for example, like fans throwing things onto the court. That if you want to get upset about that, that's certainly understandable if you're a player. But fans are going to boo. That's what happens in sports. The Yankees were a team that was getting booed by their fans all over the place. We've talked about this in other videos where, fans were wondering, were calling into talk radio about Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman's job security. And the Yankee players didn't make a fuss of it. They didn't start protests saying, we're going to protest our fans. No, they focused in on the task at hand, and they put it together as a team, and they've been winning games ever since. Here's a Mets team that has been in total free fall for over a month now, and you're coming off of that 2-11 stretch against the Dodgers and the Giants. You lose an opener of a series to Washington. You still find a way to take 2 out of 3, and the only thing that you seem to be concerned about if you're the Mets, if you're a Francisco Lindor, if you are a Javier Baiez, is to boo the fans or to let the fans have it by gesturing thumbs down when they cheer you. That doesn't make any sense at all. I seriously don't understand what they're thinking, and it goes back to what I kind of talked about in my last video, which you can see there. There's the card. That the Mets need a change in culture. They really do. They need guys who are going to be held accountable, and they need guys to hold others accountable for that matter. You can't have this kind of behavior in the clubhouse, especially when it's directed at the people who have been paying for your jerseys, paying to wear your jersey, paying to come to the ballpark to cheer you on, and even boo you for that matter. These are your fans. These are the fans of the New York Mets. Yes, you may not like getting booed. I don't know who wouldn't want to like getting booed. No one would. But still, you ignore it. You focus in on the task, and you try to win as many games as you possibly can. And all of a sudden, if you start figuring it out, those jeers turn to cheers. That's just the way it goes. And here is a Francisco Lindor who, there's a picture of him online. There's the tweet from Kevin Mayer with Lindor doing the thumbs down gesture when the Mets were up 9-4. And he says, the fact that Francisco Lindor was also giving the Mets fans a thumb down today should upset every Met fan out there. This is your $341 million man. $341 million. This is supposed to be the leader of the team? This is supposed to be the guy who's going to be here for the next decade, and he is making $32 million a year every year through 2031. He is not a free agent until 2032. He has full no trade clause from 2026 onward. He is here for the duration. He is going to be here for a very long time, and he's going about this with the, I'm going to stick it to the fans. Come on, guys. Really? As another tweet, I'm going to pull this one up here too, and this one I think best encapsulates what's going on here, especially with someone like Javier Baiez, who, by the way, just got here just a few weeks ago from the Chicago Cubs. Hasn't been hitting here with the Mets. Is hitting around 207 since coming here to the Mets. This is a very good tweet here by Zig Vicasi of SiriusXM. Some guys just aren't cut out to handle playing, living, working in New York. Different than other places, not always for the good either. And that's very true. You know, some guys just aren't made for New York City. Javier Baiez, in his case, is a free agent. He doesn't have to stick around here if he doesn't want to. He could go anywhere he wants. He's a free agent at the end of the year. The Mets, they put out a statement this evening. Sandy Alderson putting out a statement saying that in a post-game press conference today, Javier Baiez stated that the thumbs-down gesture during the game was a message to fans who recently have booed him and other players for poor performance. Those comments and any other gesture by him or other players with a similar intent are totally unacceptable and will not be tolerated. Met fans are understandably frustrated over the team's recent poor performance. The players and the organization are equally frustrated, but fans at Citi Field have every right to express their own disappointment. Booing is every fan's right. The Mets will not tolerate any player gesture that is unprofessional in its meaning or is directed in a negative way towards our fans. I will be meeting with our players and staff to convey this message directly. Met fans are loyal, passionate, knowledgeable. There you go. So, again, while yes, you can, if you want to play devil's advocate. And from the standpoint that, yes, nobody wants to ever be booed. You understand that these are human beings. We all understand that. Okay? They want to perform well. They want to hear cheers. We understand that. But if you are a player, you have to understand that there's going to be good and bad coming with it, especially when you are playing in New York City on this grand stage. And if you can't, as the old saying from Harry Truman, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. And that is the case, unfortunately, with the Mets. And this is why, as I said before, it's all about culture. Steve Cohen has bought this team. It's been a rocky road here in the first year. You know, you started off with the Jared Porter situation. You had, of course, the negotiations with Lindor that went all the way until basically opening day, for that matter. That it was kind of tense. And then you had a team that got off to a good start to start the season. There were a lot of injuries that came up, the DeGrom injury, of course, being the most debilitating one. Then the team was collapsed, and now you have this situation here regarding the Met players, Baiez, Lindor, Pilar, who was also getting in on this thumbs-down gesture as, I guess, what they feel is a rallying cry in their clubhouse. But how is that a rallying cry in the clubhouse to protest your own fan base? It just boggles my mind. And if you're Steve Cohen, you gotta get control of this. You gotta get your arms around this, and you gotta rebuild this team, the foundation of this team. Whether it's from the front office, whether it's from the manager's seat, whether it's, of course, with the players who are obviously going to have to change in a lot of ways, there needs to be a change in culture with this Mets team. Top to bottom. With the fans, still with a month to go in the season, are still going to come through the turnstiles. The Mets play a series against Miami this week. Then in 2 weeks, they play the Yankees and the Cardinals and the Phillies after that. You're still going to have Met fans coming through the turnstiles. Do you really want Met fans to just turn their backs on this team? Because that's what they'll do. They say, you know what, you don't like us, we're not going to show up. When the Yankees come to town, it'll be 50,000 Yankee fans for that matter. And that's not going to sit well with the organization, the higher-ups in the organization. So there needs to be change across the board. If the losing wasn't telling of that, this certainly is. In as far as New York sports is concerned, this is going to be one of those moments that's going to live in infamy as far as the New York Mets are concerned. And they are a franchise that unfortunately has had a lot of those moments that have lived in infamy. So again, chime in the comments section, folks. How do you feel about this? Your thoughts about what Baiez, Lindor, and Pilar have started here with the Mets. My goodness. This is going to be talked about a lot. It's all over social media. It's exploding all over the place. Mets versus the fans. Unbelievable. Okay, is football season here yet? Can we just start football season already? My goodness. At least the Jets traded for Shaq Lawson. That's some good news, right? Come on. Anyway, I want to thank you all for tuning in and listening. Remember to follow us here, facebook.com/OpenMic Program, at OpenMicNJ on Twitter, and remember to like and subscribe right here to the Sports Talk Nation.